Graham a little bit surprised he's gone for the longer ones.
Must be colder than we thought, yeah. I thought Ray of the old school would have chosen the short sleeves. Maybe he was outvoted, really. Maybe there were too many in there saying, Ray, come on, we need a bit.
I know what you're saying. Jens Lehmann, incidentally, behind Ray Parlour, bumped into Kevin Keegan about an hour or so before the kickoff and said to Kevin, I remember you playing in Germany for Hamburg. I was a fan of the way you used to play your football. A nice moment for the Manchester City manager. So here we go. Arsenal are targeting top spot again. Manchester in their way in the table and on the pitch. It's City at Highbury. All the action from North London. It's coming up live right after this break.
That we use sometimes too easily. It does apply to David Seaman, who's just stepped onto the Highbury turf through a guard of honour and a rapturous reception. 1,030 senior appearances, 9 major trophies he was part of. For the length of time he played, he was due the odd mistake every now and again. He was one of the best. Simple as that. And on behalf of Arsenal, Patrick Vieira makes a presentation to underline that fact. Retired recently, of course, from playing with Manchester City. He will be forever remembered here. Probably is the best. We're interactive, of course. Push the red button on the remote control, follow the instructions. You'll find the 8 mini screens there. Have fun. Manchester United won yesterday 3-2. Chelsea have just beaten Blackburn 3-2. Can Thierry Henry and Arsenal follow suit and win here? Match commentators Andy Gray and Martin Tyler.
Thanks, Richard. Arsenal beat Manchester City up in Manchester in August, despite going behind to a Lauren own goal. But they turned it round in the second half at the City of Manchester Stadium. Freddie Ljungberg got the winner, and he is fresh from 2 goals last weekend against Middlesbrough. Nicolas Anelka spent just over 2.5 years with Arsenal. 18 goals he struck for Manchester City this season. If Arsenal don't lose today, the unbeaten start to their season will equal that of George Graham's title-winning team of 1990-1991, 23. But it's not about not losing in these circumstances in today's title race. It's about winning and restoring the 2-point advantage that they held over Manchester United at the start of the weekend.
I mean, I think that's true, Martin. I mean, Richard mentioned earlier in the show about the run-in starts. And I think he's right. I mean, we may be 15 games, but when you've got 2 teams like this, the run-in as well had truly started.
Sunji High with the header. Bang from Parlour on Barton. Brought a tear or two to the Manchester City midfielder's eyes. It was a sore one. Henry. Similarities with Manchester United extend to an expensive new number 9. Arsenal have won the race for Reyes. Sinclair, playing on the right recently, but he's on the left again today. And Sean Wright-Phillips restored to that far flank. Lauren, Parlour. It's not quite the perfect Arsenal pitch. In a lot of bad weather all over the country, of course. In the past few days there's been snow on it and heavy rain as well. It's dried out okay. It's not quite the usual roll of the ball.
Might see a lot of this. Arsenal have the ball here where they've got it, Mark. Manchester City back off. Try not to allow space in behind.
Well, we talked yesterday, Andy, about Southampton doing a lot of work on the training ground to get the plan finely tuned for a difficult away fixture. The same applies to Manchester City. They're in North London again on Wednesday, and you can see that with us on Sky Sports, that FA Cup replay at Tottenham. Yet another game in which they led, of course, and lost a lead to draw. Anelka. Campbell's got to be alert.
Good defending. One thing to know, and it will be no surprise to either any player playing in red and white today, is the pace of Nicholas Anelka. You know, people often think about it over the top, long runs, but it's over short distances as well, Martin. Edge of the 18-yard box, it can be so potent.
Stannis in there, it's deflected off him. The corner taker was Rayner.
There's two poor attempts there, corner then the cross.
Barton. That's a bit of a mistake by Lauren. Cursed by Manchester City maybe again, but it hasn't cost a goal as it did back in August. And he rather panicked under pursuit from Trevor Sinclair, who's his immediate opponent again today. Going the way of Perez. He's been very much amongst the goals recently, and he's Arsenal's second highest scorer behind Henry.
Done well. Almost won every other game for Robert Perez in the Premiership this year. It's a very, very good return, Martin.
Alan Wiley's the referee, and he's said handball by Joey Barton here.
He argues the point, and it is within range, there's no doubt about that. And we'll show an interest in this.
Of course, the last time he played, he was involved in an incident from a free kick. But he's not going to be allowed to take this one quickly, or he is in the end. By Alan Wiley was pacing out to the distance. Now that was strange.
That was very strange.
Cole, Bergkamp, Perez on the burst. Oh, it's behind Ljungberg, half cleared by Sinclair. Ray Parlour, who's not scored a league goal for now over 3 years. Had a moment to set the sights, but was closed down. Perez was round the back.
This is a lovely ball from Perez. I think it goes through for Ljungberg's legs here, Martin. He looks, he puts the brakes on, tries to come out. Well, just wide of him. But Ray Parlour, I wondered about hitting it first time. I think when he took the touch in the ball, it allowed Rayner to get some distance and close him down. It was a strange free kick. Normally in the rule state, if the referee walks away, then you've got to wait as he's pacing it out, and you can't take it quickly.
As we know on other matters, the interpretations chop and change. Here's Ljungberg, who played as a supporting striker against Middlesbrough in the FA Cup last weekend. He's back on the right-hand side of midfield today. Sinclair. Anelka. Some total boos. He did very well for Aston when he was here. He helped them win the double in the 97-98 season. Scored in that FA Cup final win over Newcastle as a 19-year-old. And was sold for a lavish profit. And I think it's a legend, I'm not sure it's fact, that Arsenal bought Henry and their training ground on the profits of the sale of Anelka to Real Madrid, as it was. Didn't stay there long, did he? Still played more league games in his career for Arsenal than for any of his other clubs, although that should change soon with Manchester City. Cole. Here's Lauren.
These are the areas where they've got to keep it really tight centrally, Manchester City. Force Arsenal to play the ball into these areas. They always look, they will look to thread it into the front.
Parlour. Caught by Rayner. The advantage played by Alan Wiley. The possession was retained. Cole. Get away to Perez. Sanji Hai. Played for a while in London with Crystal Palace. He made the interception. Could have been handball again against Barton. This time Alan Wiley chose not to penalise the midfield players. Made great strides, but was showing the strain of that. And Kevin Keegan gave him the weekend off last weekend. It's quite fashionable for managers to do that. And we come into that, should there be a general winter break, as there is going to be for the Premiership, an experiment for next season and the season after. Henry for Cole, for Bergkamp.
Lovely football. It's the speed of it as well, Martin. I think that's the breathtaking thing about it. I mean, look how far back they are, and in a couple of passes, they're right at the heart of Manchester City. They've ripped them open here. Ball's not quite good enough at the end, but the build-up there to admire.
Tarnat. He's off the other left back. Ashley Cole, it's a bit of a loose one, and Wright Phillips trying to get Anelka in the clear, but he was in the clear, but he was offside.
That's not a very good run from Nicholas Anelka. You'd expect maybe somebody who's inexperienced to make that kind of run. Not somebody with his experience.
Yes, he'll be 25 next month. He does seem settled at Manchester City. He's been speaking up for Kevin Keegan. Henri. A bit behind Bergkamp. He fought hard to get to it. Gilberto. Parla. A chance maybe to strike the goal, but he spurned that. Ljungberg. Reina was the player in the way.
Well, you just get the feeling in the early moments of this game that Manchester City are going to have to work extremely hard, and the concentration levels have got to be up for this whole match. Arsenal look like they're going to have a lot of the ball in this game.
Parla. Ashley Cole, who scored his first Highbury Premiership goal against Manchester City. Henri. Turn Barton, shot to hit the solid figure of Richard Dunn. Goal. Cross to Lauren. Opening phases of this game very much in Arsenal's favour. Lauren turned his back, but he's still got the ball. Oh, it's at the post. Henri.
Well, again, I have to say, I've always said about the right-hand side of Arsenal, it doesn't create a lot, but my goodness, it creates a lot here. It's a fantastic build-up again. And Manchester City, Martin, are all over the place. Should be 1-0. How it isn't, well, only Thierry Henry knows why. It's a tap-in goal for the Frenchman. It's in addition to his tally. Not a difficult chance. Open his foot, use the weight of the pass, and he's got his opening goal of the game.
Well,
that's how easy it was.
He stayed down after that. He's still down.
Don't know whether they opened the groin a bit there. Hamstring area, they're having a little tentative prod. Maybe the groin just opened it. They're out of jail.
Warming up. Jose Antonio Reyes.
They're going to have to move the pitch, aren't they? Now the bottom. I mean, they're going to have to make it a very left-sided pitch. They've got Cole, Perez, Henri. All love that side. Reyes, another left footer.
The grimace, he's obviously felt some pain.
It's funny, isn't it? You give somebody a couple of weeks off, and then you come back, and you maybe not, the muscles maybe are not at working pace yet. It's funny that, isn't it? That's what can happen. But they wouldn't want to lose him. That's for certain.
That's why next January there is talk that the players won't be allowed certainly to play any matches in that weekend off. Any club wants to maybe try and cash in on the no league game weekend. And there's some talk that they won't be training for a while as well, but if it's only one weekend off, it seems strange that the terms of it, I think, still to be defined. Exactly 2 weeks ago, Thierry Henry last played. He's obviously been back in for a bit of training prior to this game, but he's had plenty of time off. It was a bit of an awkward stretch, perhaps a slightly unusual position. A muscle seems to have reacted to it. We'll just see how serious the damage is. For the moment, Henri plays on, but even with Reyes, he is, don't use the word lightly, indispensable for Arsenal. Anelka. And goes Sean Wright Phillips. And he waits Anelka's way again.
Very wasteful. Kolo Touré though, fantastic block. And Sean Wright Phillips. Little thumbs up to his partner at the back, Sol Campbell. Because he just looks to play Sean Wright Phillips in there, and it's an important little block. Ashley Cole and Kolo Touré between them, really.
Campbell. Toure to Bergkamp. Parler. Arsenal short of strikers. Kanu away on international duty. Ali Adier and Wiltor both injured. Mori hasn't really had a run since he's come back on. Toure. Gilberto. Back with Lauren. And we'll see the mobility of Henry, and it wasn't bad, was it?
No, there was a ball. It's just because I'm not used to it. I mean, playing the ball in as quickly as that into a really, really good area. The twist and the turn are there to admire yet again. Looks in working order. Look at this. Wonderful football. And just plays it in where you would normally expect someone to be coming into, but
there was a little bit of a shake of the head after that, whether it was just because no one was coming in on his cross or whether he felt another twinge of pain.
it might have been because he thinks he should have taken it on. That was the third thing that surprised me. Having skipped by Richard Dunn, he didn't drive into the penalty area.
Some skipping successful work from Sean Wright Phillips for Manchester City. Nudged back by Sinclair. Barton trying to drive on after his first shot was blocked. Space for Arsenal to break into. Midfield court further forward perhaps than Kevin Keegan would have wanted. They've regrouped in numbers now. Ori. It's Tarnat who stretched in, headed back by Gilberto. Moment to assess the situation for Claudio Reyna.
That'll be a booking, I would think. Yeah, I'm surprised if it isn't. I know they're lenient now, but that should be a booking, Martin. Because Anelka's away, there isn't a doubt about that. I'm really surprised at Alan Weller. You know me, I don't like people getting booked, but he's asking the question. He's right to, because he's away, and he just hooks the arm around Anelka. He's a lucky boy. That's a booking.
Tarnat with the free kick. A little pressure on Lehmann. So David James now, the Manchester City goalkeeper. Had some success here in his time with Liverpool. Last time he was here with West Ham a year ago, Thierry Henry put a hat-trick past it. Perez. So off the mark, Bergkamp with the forward pass. Lauren already set up one very good chance that Arsenal haven't taken. Gilberto. So we'll have to be patient. Anelka back behind the ball. Bergkamp, Gilberto. Led by Sunji Hai. Toure.
They've got to win it. Man City. Ball again. Feed in to the front men. It's poor.
Ljungberg. He got past two, but the third man was there, and that was Bosvelt. Another Dutchman comes back to win it for Arsenal. Bergkamp. And that's Reyna. Tarnat. Barton. Not really time for those extra touches. Ljungberg in a flash. He was flagged offside on the original ball. Bergkamp now following Nicholas Anelka. If you're a Sky Digital viewer, to use our interactive facilities, use the red button on the remote.
It's very unlike Freddie Ljungberg. Loose pass there. You just feel, you know, when you look at Manchester City's record, Martin, 4 clean sheets I think this season in the league. And Kevin must think today that his team have got to score if they're going to get anything. You know, be tight, yeah, be difficult to break down early in the game, but he must feel that, you know, we have got to score Manchester City if we're going to go away from Highbury with anything at all.
That's a mistake by Lauren. And Sinclair. Anelka. Comes out to Barton. And Gilberto getting in the way. High across in muscular fashion. His father's an athletics coach, and back in China last summer he spent 3 weeks building up his upper body to try and cope with the power of the Premiership, and he's had a good season. So thanks, Dad. Campbell underneath this. Bosvelt read the direction of the header. And the footwork from Gilberto.
That's good play. They also need to be in possession at times. Manchester City.
Tarnat, who smashed in a couple of goals early in his Manchester City career.
Wrong choice. He has got the power. Kevin's not happy. Just take it easy. And he's pointing to Trevor Sinclair because all he had to do there, Tarnat, was just keep it going wide. Sinclair's on the left, totally spare.
Norrie for Perez. Barton's everywhere at the moment, but he's only played it straight back to Henry, but the ball had gone out.
Kevin Keegan's got to ask a question of his team. If Robert Perez can make that kind of run, why can't anyone see it and track it? If it wasn't that the ball was just a yard behind him, he might well have paid the full penalty.
Henry's corner. Powerfully by Dunn. Bergkamp. Henry again. Bosvelt got in. Got it. Manchester City don't want to be giving it back to Arsenal in this part of the pitch. They've played it well around the Gunners. And they've got Sean Wright-Phillips on the run through the centre. The adopted son of Arsenal's all-time leading scorer, Ian Wright, of course. Anelka for Reina. Be a change for Arsenal not to be playing Middlesbrough. There's Bosvelt. Talk about Groundhog Day at Manchester City.
Yeah.
Gilberto, Henry. Well, it's a difficult ball. Freddie Ljungberg was coming in from the right-hand side. Just seemed to have all the bases covered there. Reina.
Lucky boys.
Tarnat trying to bend it in behind Campbell from that Anelka run. Mistake by Cole. Bosvelt bring it on to Anelka. And scored here in this fixture last season, although City lost it 2-1.
And that's the first real glimpse. When he's had it, you know, he's played it, he's passed it, Martin. This is the first time he's gone at the Arsenal back four, tried to work the angle, work the space. Did all of that very well. Worked the goalkeeper.
Toure. Toure again. Manchester City working hard to try and stem the flow. Offer something on the counter-attack themselves. Osfeldt was furious with himself. Miskicking the attempted pass then. Lauren. I'll be happy City are fast to start knocking balls forward as early as that.
It's an enormous kick.
Shot on target.
I'll leave that to the stats man.
Gilberto, halfway through the first half, 0-0 at Highbury. Cole. And Ljungberg coming in from the right-hand side. He's left some space that Lauren might be able to use here. Sinclair recognising his responsibilities. Plenty of help behind him. Well, I mentioned Arsenal against Middlesbrough. Of course, it's actually Middlesbrough against Arsenal, but it's on Tuesday. And that was postponed from last week. Second leg of the Carling Cup semi-final. The right to play Bolton in the final. And it's FA Cup replay football on Wednesday, Sky Sports 2. Manchester City are at White Hart Lane. That's a stray one from Rayner. Cole. Anelka got a good foot to it. This is Rayner. And now Anelka. He's going to do it all himself. And he's sorted out by Kolo Toure.
Did well, the defender. It's a good break. The Rayner and Anelka combination. Just drove him a little wide. The last and final ball from Rayner. Looked offside. Flag's gone up.
Measured ball by Tarnat. Sanji Hai. Cole having to chase back. It's a good race that with Sean Wright Phillips, who's game to foul Ashley Cole.
Yeah, he got a bit of help, Ashley Cole, from his goalkeeper. Ball travelled an awful long way, and it's on the level with the 6-yard box, and they eventually got there, the players.
Manchester City have gone 11 Premiership games without a win, but in League and FA Cup they've lost just one of their last 7. Maybe their picture is not as gloomy as sometimes has been painted. They can have a problem here. Ori helps them out, and that will be a goal kick.
Too many draws, too many leads squandered or surrendered. That's Manchester City's problem. That's what it's been certainly lately.
Arsene Wenger can point to 4 wins out of 4 in his managerial matchups with Kevin Keegan. Just covers an Arsenal-Newcastle game up at St James's Park, a 2-1 Gunners win, and Kevin was still manager of the Magpies. Anelka, Sinclair. The remarkable thing about Manchester City involving Trevor Sinclair, he scored on his debut in that UEFA Cup qualifying match against the club from Wales, Total Network Solutions. Not one of the game's bigger names,
no.
Longer names, but not bigger. But he's not scored since.
No. Well, he's better than that.
He is better than that.
You know, this is his 17th start in the Premiership, and he is better than that. There's no doubt about that.
Toure.
Just once or twice, a little bit of frustration creeping in. Toure and Lauren in particular have launched it a little long, a little earlier than Arsenal would like.
Anelka. It's No offside here, and Jens Lehmann did come out and powerfully. And now he wants to remonstrate with Barton. He didn't like the way the Manchester City man followed on in. But I think Jens Lehmann's getting himself a reputation as a player who can be rattled by the opposition.
Well, he is. I mean, you've got two players coming from opposite directions at full speed. I mean, it's a token gesture. There's bound to be a coming together, and I would not say that Joey Barton went for Jens Lehmann. He has to be careful, the goalkeeper. Rattled, I'd say he's got the reputation of being a bit of a whinger myself, Mark, to put it bluntly. As a goalkeeper, you know, they're supposed to get rattled a bit.
I think Alan Wiley's making that very point. He has given the free kick against Barton, but he certainly administered the longer lecture to the Arsenal goalkeeper, who has had a couple of problems with the Football Association already in his first season in English football, and has pleaded guilty to an incident involving Kevin Phillips down at St Mary's in December. It's given away again by Tarnat. That player's been better than that. The former Bayern Munich man is better than that. He scored, incidentally, Bayern here against Arsenal in the Champions League game. Gilberto. Parler. Now Lauren. Getting to this position regularly, Arsenal, but not much beyond it. That's a credit to Manchester City. Cole.
That's what Manchester City, for the majority, Martin, have done quite well. There's only been a couple of occasions when they've been picked open.
Bergkamp can't find the key there.
That's something about concentration. Sloppy there, Joey Barton got away with it. That free kick given against Bosvelt, was it?
Because of Barton's unnecessary little pass. That can happen when you've got three central midfield players. The outcome is a free kick, which is the signal for Campbell to come forward. And Kolo Touré as well. Henry takes. Cindy High heads out. Parler. Bergkamp. Trying to break it up, and Sinclair as well. Rayner is tucking it forward for Anelka.
That's asking a lot.
Goalless opening half hour at Highbury. Campbell. Now Pires. Sindri High sticking to him. Pires pass for Bergkamp. Just across the goal.
Now that's how good they are. I could only think the angle was against
Ashley Cole, but
finish. Yeah.
Lauren. There's no place for little flicks there by Rayner. Sinclair. They had three, almost four to the right of Rayner there, but he couldn't pick any of them. Lauren. And he curved again. But Anelka. Sinclair. There's Wright Phillips. Turned by Cole, and then Bosvelt coming together with Gilberto.
He's been a big threat, hasn't he, in the attacking side of this game, Ashley Cole, Martin. That left-hand side, it is a strong attacking weapon for Arsenal. And on 2 or 3 occasions, Ashley Cole's been right at the heart of it.
Pires.
See, that's sometimes a look right, and nothing's there.
No, that's because Ljungberg is here. was asking a bit for Lauren to push on from the back line to fill in Freddie Ljungberg's position. He does like to stray at times. It can be very successful for Arsenal when he does so, but Pires was looking for him in his more orthodox role then, and he was disappointed. Toure. Pires. And away was Sun Ji-hai. Can so often be the case that when you come with a difficult away game and you dig in, get through half an hour well, start to believe it's all going according to plan, and then that last 15 minutes or so before half-time can be demoralising and certainly dangerous.
That's concentration, isn't it? You just don't want to get too deep here and give David James a problem.
Suddenly the rain has started to come hammering down. Henry, distant.
He's done well this time at the end, man. The reason he did well, he didn't panic. You know, I've seen a few defenders who would have just flashed the right leg at that, could have gone anywhere, but they get a little deep again. Look how deep they are. That's what I mean about giving the goalkeeper a problem. It's a decent ball from Henry into a decent area. Goalkeeper and defenders are a little bit too close. Oh, that is chucking it down now, isn't it? Look at that.
Got here, had the game been allocated for Saturday afternoon, it might well not have been played. Wet, 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 especially when you're on the bench, but the kit man's always there to help you out.
Oh, he should be.
Yeah. Well done, Vic Akers. Lauren. Good turn by Ljungberg. Through the middle of the Manchester City defence as Henry was hoping. Dunn was in the way.
They were unlucky there in Arsenal because Ljungberg's position had drawn out. Sylvain Distin out the back four. And there was a gap there, Martin. He just didn't find it with the pass.
Pires probing again. Alan Wiley, incidentally, was the referee who gave that penalty for Pires against Portsmouth back in September. At particular end of the ground as well, the clock end.
Well, he's worked on his upper body strength, Sun Ji-hai. A little bit more work this summer, I think, sir. Then he get pushed over.
Well, he's a super professional, and I'm sure if it is required, he'll do it. Anelka. Sinclair.
Just super up the header. How important was that positioning of Freddie Ljungberg there?
Vital.
Oh. Big gap, saw it, plugged it.
To the frustration of Joey Bart. Spins away and more testing now the conditions. Pires resuming his battle with Sun Ji-hai. This time Ashley Cole wasn't bombing up on the outside of him. Lauren does support Ljungberg though. Now Cole's on the move and there's plenty of room in which to give him the ball, but Gilberto decided not to do that and be regretting it now. Anelka, it's just a slip.
I thought it was more than that. I didn't get it.
And here's Bergkamp to Henry. Ljungberg! On goal. He didn't get the touch. But it all goes down as Tarnat rues the moment as to was it a foul on Anelka. He thinks so.
Well, they all do. They're round Alan Wiley. Big decision, Mark. It might only have been a free kick, but it's the difference between 0-0 and 1-0 down. They are not happy, Manchester City. This is it. There's a little contact. I don't think there was much made. But look at that. They just don't get it right. They're wide open here for about the first time in the game, and it's an awful ball for Tarnat to have to deal with, Martin, because he knows if he doesn't deal with it, Freddie Ljungberg's tapping it in anyway. He has to try and just get the faintest of touches here and let it run past the far post. He just gets a bit much on it, because he's at full stretch. But this is a tackle. Does the leg come out? That's not a free kick to me. Anelka runs into Gilberto rather than the other way around.
Well, Tarnat is a scorer at Highbury again, but not for the right side from his point of view. And Arsenal having had to work very hard are in front. I said that dangerous last 15 minutes of the first half. Suddenly the pressure which has been applied starts to tell. And they haven't got to half-time with their goal still intact, Manchester City. They'd be looking to Anelka even more. Another return of his to Highbury. Tarnat. Now Barton, Sinclair, looking for Anelka, Bosveld, but well, they've got to show their resilience, Manchester City, a club that's got into trouble really by scoring first and not being able to hold on to leads. Today they're being asked, as they might have expected really coming here to Arsenal, to come from behind. Cole. Henry. For Ashley Cole. Just came across. There is a lovely understanding between Cole and Pires, with Henry dropping into that area of the pitch as well. Sanji High, Bosveld. Reina shrugged aside. Gilberto. And looking left Arsenal again. Pires. Parla. A lot of room for Lauren here.
Pressure.
Bergkamp coming across towards the near post. Ball didn't get to him. Lauren again.
Well, they've got to get half-time now, haven't they, Manchester City, Mark? I think that's the thing. And saying that, well, Southampton went 2 down yesterday and managed to come back, make a game of it.
Bergkamp able to turn. Parla. Now Arsenal can be just a little bit more relaxed in these sort of areas, which might lead to a better end product for them as well. Never quite the same at 0-0 as it is when you're 1-0 in front. Pires. Oh, James has spilt it!
Oh, it's so wet and slippery this is, but it's a little triangle on the left that manufactured the chance, Martin. It's Cole, it's Henry, it's Pires. It causes so many problems so many times. Does the right thing. I think today's conditions, it's worth taking the shot on from anywhere. This is not the fiercest struck shot that David James will have to deal with. You can see the difficulty. Good recovery though.
Good ball by Bart. City have got a lot of players forward here. Arsenal will be hoping they can just seize possession and spring into one of their classic counter-attacks, but not shaping up. The flag's gone up, and Wiley can let Arsenal break, and they'd like to do that because they've got Pires. But they prefer to have Henry in that position.
Well, use Henry. Certainly break was on. They are dangerous, we know that, Arsenal. But the team's got them under a little bit of pressure, the break. So quick.
Forward, the player who used to break forward for Arsenal to such good effect, Nicholas Anelka.
I just looked at Freddie Ljungberg's position, Mark. Now look at the goal that they've scored. Now we talked about offsides. Look at Freddie's position. The ball's going to be threaded straight in an angle. Now it might look to the linesman that this ball about to be played now by Ray Parlour is on his way to Freddie, who makes that forward movement. Flag stays down in Arsenal's favour, and probably rightly so. And it's a horrible ball to deal with. But that's the difficulty the linesmen have in assessing when it's coming in, when it's not. That one was allowed to go.
Pires. Henry. Are you saying, Andy, that if Freddie Ljungberg had put the ball in the net rather than Tarnat, it would have been disallowed?
You want my honest answer? I've got no idea.
I think there's plenty listening to us who would agree with that. In the circumstances, of course, not as a general statement from the star of Sky Sports.
Well, that's going to give him a problem. Oh no, it's running out. But you know what I mean? He was definitely looking to get forward. Yeah, he's
seeking to gain
offside,
an advantage. Yeah.
You know, and he has called Tarnat a problem. If he wasn't there and he put the brakes on, then Tarnat probably just lets it run, Mark. It's a throw in. It's 0-0, and you get on with it. Anyway, it's things like that I like to leave for a studio guest.
Just heard that Niall Quinn has said thanks, Andy.
I know Richard's been swatting up in the new offside law, so
I gave him that piece of paper that we brandished in front of Gordon Strachan yesterday. Almost half-time at Highbury. Parlour.
I think he's done well, Ray Parlour. I mean, he's the big shoes to fill, Patrick Vieira's. You come into that midfield area.
In more ways than one,
yeah.
incidentally.
And he's been pretty much everywhere.
Henry, Ljungberg.
You know, this is when, you know, managers, coaches have decisions to make. You know, you set your stall out to be difficult to play against. 1-0, still very much in the game as we approach half-time. Kevin will be thinking, we've got plenty of attacking options on the bench.
Only attacking options
exactly.
on the bench.
So, you know, does he try and get Nicholas Anelka a little bit of support just to stop Arsenal maybe doing things like this and eating up chunks of play? Or does he say, no, I'm happy the way things are at the moment. If that's the case with 20 minutes to go, then I might change it. And this is what managers get paid lots of money to make those decisions. The best ones invariably get those kind of decisions right.
Well, that talking in the Manchester City dressing room will shortly begin. Michael Tarnat's own goal has relaxed Arsenal. Freddie Ljungberg was waiting to pounce had he missed the ball. David James beaten late in the first half after some solid Manchester City resistance, but they need more than resistance now. At half-time, it's Arsenal 1, Manchester City 0.
Final word, there is no new offside rule. We cleared that up earlier. Niall Quinn is with us this afternoon. Arsenal lead by 1-0, but Manchester City feel a little hard done by. No complaints from the bench, mind you, but was there a free kick in there before Arsenal went in front? We'll get now.
No.
No, he might have to do it at 1-0 down as the second half shapes up. And we're ready for that now. Some compensation for Manchester City yesterday. The results went for them. Big home defeats for Leeds and Leicester down at the bottom. They probably would have wanted the draw between Portsmouth and Wolves. And of course, Blackburn have been beaten by Chelsea today. But Kevin Keegan pointing out quite firmly before the game, although we have a look at other results, it's what we do that will determine how this season ends up. Sean Wright Phillips recalled today. Sorry, Andy, is the player cam. Got to do the formalities here. It's all yours.
No, just thinking about Thierry Henry there. He tried to nick in and win a very sloppy kick-off from Manchester City, and I think it was Joey Barton as Henry won it. I think he just came down on the top of his foot with his boot. Can be painful. Yeah, just a bit sloppy. You look. It's a lazy little ball back, and he comes, and you can see that. Oh. I'm not saying it was deliberate, but what happened, he was a fraction late and he was on the stretch. And that can be very, very painful. I know, I broke a couple of those bones once, and they're easy to do. As David Beckham made them famous, didn't he?
Metatarsal.
That's the one.
That's the word.
I knew you'd know that. I always like to test you now, anyway.
Mine are still intact, by the way. Here's Gilberto.
Yeah, it's your marbles we're worried about, not your metatarsals.
Yeah, you've got every reason to be worried about those. Here's Lauren. Well, this is a real deluge. Talked about the pitch having puddles on it yesterday, and I think we might have some puddles on it this afternoon. At least it's soft under that damaged foot for Thierry Henry. Distan. In goes Toure. Job certainly not done yet by Arsenal. On a day where they've honoured their fans, the flags out, special song sheets out. They must be absolutely drenched. They were all put lovingly out on the seats when it was dry earlier in the day. And the pixie-like figure was Arsene Wenger. Campbell. Toure. It's behind Distan, but the flag went up. Really no need for it. But that's beautifully measured, especially in the conditions for Reina. That's not so well played, though.
I just think that's too easy for Claudio under no pressure.
He did well against Tottenham in the cup game last weekend. Hasn't quite hit those standards today.
And then he just pushed a little further up the pitch as well at the beginning of the second half. Kevin's decided not to make any changes regarding personnel, but it may be that they'll ask Claudio Reina to get a little bit further up the pitch in contact with Anelka a little earlier.
That was better from Reina, and with the help of Sean Wright Phillips and a bit of a slip by Gilberto, Manchester City have a corner.
It's the first. Don't remember too many others. Gives Tarnat a chance. He's got a lovely left foot. He can whip them in. Arsenal are a big side. We've talked about that often. They'd look to defend us well.
Here is Tarnat. Oh, Lehmann himself into no man's land. The ball came over, but it wasn't knocked back beyond that far post. Distan.
Why would you do that as a centre-back? We talked about the goal. I mean, with 5 minutes to go to half-time, I think you've done all right. I'm a midfield player, yes, but coming out from the back four against a team that breaks as quickly as Arsenal.
Trouble is, real wisdom comes in the game when you can't play it anymore. And Distan's learnt. I'm sure we'll be wiser for it. Finally, Alan Wiley satisfied with the nature of the restart from Jens Lehmann. It's been a difficult game for him to referee. And again, I take the opportunity to say how well it seems to be working between referees and players with a different approach. Perez. Oh, there's got to be stern here, Alan Wiley.
Well, the thing is here, is there any contact? I mean, we've got a pretty good view of it from up in the gantry. I think he's arguing, I don't know, it's close, it's so quick, but look at this. So aware of each other, the Frenchman, and it skips past Sun Ji Hai. Now there goes Richard Dunn across to try and make the tackle. The ball's away. It's a brush, if anything.
Which Perez felt, and was happy to go down and get the free kick. Very difficult conditions for goalkeepers now. Ori. All the way by Sanji Hai. Missed by Bergkamp. And here's Anelka. Bergkamp did a bit of reclaiming. Helped by Parla. He was caught in an awkward position, Dennis Bergkamp, then, an unfamiliar one.
This one for his scrapbook. Outrunning Nicholas Anelka.
Swept wide by Campbell to Ori. Bergkamp back where he's more familiar.
Just got trapped. Oh, it's a poor throw.
And it gave something for Cole to aim at. The chance of a goal was worth the bang that he was inevitably going to get as he flew in for the loose ball.
Well, he's talked to Sean, he's saying, Sean, come on, because Sean Wright-Phillips just turns his back on this, and David James can see that he's running away. Throw it to Sunji Ai, yeah, he's the right side, he's wider. That was a really dangerous throw. Didn't do his teammate any favours.
It's going to be extremely difficult now to pass the ball any distance accurately.
But what you do want to do, I mean, if you're looking at these conditions, man, where do you want to see the ball? Where are you likely to make mistakes? If you can get the ball into a penalty area and it skips about, and it's bobbling about, there is a chance that defenders who hate that will make mistakes.
There's an Arsenal defender, Sol Campbell, to another one. Ashley Cole is an auxiliary attacker as well. Bosveld. Block a few times. Paul Bosveld in Dutch football was captain Feyenoord to winning the UEFA Cup a couple of years ago. Dutch international. And he is driving Manchester City forward. Sinclair. But he just paddling his way back. Sanji Hai.
Good effort. Pretty adventurous little run there from the right back. Even that is a save that, you know, on a normal day, bread and butter, easy. But on a day like today, conditions we're in, just makes it a little bit more difficult.
Parla. Here's Cole. Last time Arsenal did lose in the Premiership, it was in a game here at Highbury when they were strong favourites to win against Leeds United at the back end of last season. Peter Reid was in charge and Mark Viduka struck a stunning decisive goal. Really stunned Arsenal.
How many kilos weren't bad that day, if I remember right, there, wasn't it?
That was the first, wasn't it? Cole helped by the decision, but sees a free kick against Reina. I've been accused sometimes of not being a team that relishes a scrap, Manchester City, but if they scrap here, particularly in these circumstances, could just force what would be a plus point for Kevin Keegan. Managers look at fixtures that have come up, they often say, well, we might get 3 here, 1 there. And you have to say away to Arsenal, you don't usually expect to get any, so...
Not with a record anyway.
Portsmouth have got a draw here this season, and Fulham as well. Fulham from Ljungberg.
Joe Bartlett's again involved in this. Yeah, they just turns into each other basically. There's no tackle there, but you can see both took a bit of a clout.
Bit of a dig in the ribs.
Yeah.
For the player who got the winning goal up at the City of Manchester Stadium in August and was involved by presence in the 1 goal that Arsenal have scored here. beaten to the punch by Michael Tarnat.
Go on, what would you give him? Fans have come here, he's on the bench. Arsene Wenger must know Arsenal fans would love to see him play some part in the game. At 1-0, he doesn't know the Premiership. I think the difference between the three signings the top three have made, Zaha knows it, Parker knows it, both started in their debuts, both started. No surprise, a lad who doesn't know much of anything about the Premiership is kept on the bench.
Just 20 years old, Jose Antonio Reyes. But he'll be worth waiting for, Arsenal fans. There's every chance he is eligible to play at Middlesbrough on Tuesday. Another reason for switching on to watch that. Can't get to the game, you can see it live on Sky Sports, second leg of the semi-final of the Carling Cup. Bergkamp. He's done well. Cole. Perez adroitly wins Arsenal a corner. Kevin Keegan saying when his side had been in front they couldn't get that second goal in matches. Maybe Arsenal will need a second one here, and the City have gone to sleep at the corner. Henry. Right, Phillips took a bit too long. This is Toure who was up for the corner. Lundberg back and buzzing. Parler. Lauren. This is where Arsenal bide their time, just sling it in from wide positions. They're wide again with Perez to Henry. Chance for the change of pace. City doubling up on him. Like a dog with a bone. That's great work from the young midfielder from Merseyside. He's making his career in Manchester. And in the end, through his efforts, reached Sol Campbell in his own half. He sliced it out of play. Certainly been more mistakes made in the last half an hour of the game. Inevitable as the rain continues to fall. Sun Ji-hai. Anelka. Bosfeld. Wright Phillips. Sun Ji-hai came on the overlap. Now might have a header to challenge for. Quite fancy jumping with Sol Campbell, I don't think. It's a great ball in by Wright Phillips. Lehman got to it, and Anelka's there.
Oh, what a horrible ball to deal with. Got a bit lucky because he needed it, Mark, because such is the quality of the ball. He can't catch this. You watch him, he's on the full stretch. It's a brilliant ball in. He didn't risk catching that. All he can do is just palm it out. Might have been better trying to push it wide, off goal.
That shows the fine margins that we're dealing with. It's not Reyes, but it's Edu for Ljungberg. There was a bit of a doubt. He had a rib problem from the Middlesbrough game. The last Middlesbrough game, I should say.
Exactly. Give them a clue, man.
Yes, FA Cup was
Ray Parler just going to drop wide on the right now. Edu beside Gilberto in the middle.
Toure. Hesitation there, and Edu need to get down to business quickly. He's got a free kick.
Good pressure. Referee did well. I can only think that Joey Barton's getting booked for what they would call persistent infringements of the rules. He's had a few, but that one certainly was no worse than Kolo Toure's first half when Anelka was away. So I'd be surprised if it was just for this one.
You wonder in these conditions how the referee records the details, because the rain would wipe out anything that was written once he opened the book. Maybe a test of memory for Alan Wiley. It's blue 24. Perez. Parler. Just a one-game ban for Patrick Vieira, 5 yellow cards. Campbell. Right, Phillips, good tussle with Cole. Now it's Gilberto he's got to deal with. He's keeping going this
Good tussle. It was a really good tussle. He kept going, Gilberto kept going. Well, lots of people have, I think, fairly critical of Gilberto since he came up, but these are the kind of things that we've just seen then that he does do ever so well for Arsenal. And he chips in the odd goal. Thought it was a throw in myself. Yeah.
He's got plenty of pluck about his game, Sean Wright Phillips. Plenty for Ian Wright to be proud of when he watches him play. Bosveld. Park. Bergkamp. And they continue, for the most part, to spoil Arsenal's game plan, Manchester City. And Kevin Keegan, who has been the first to admit himself that he has some tactical deficiencies, has organised a plan here that's still working okay, with it only being a 1-0 deficit. There's no huge urgency at the moment to change it. There's enough potential through midfield. You want to see Wright Phillips bomb on as he's just done, but of course Robbie Fowler waiting for the call. Could maybe provide a finishing touch that no one on the field could do. Dunn's header. Robbie Fowler's got a fantastic record, of course, against Arsenal.
Just wondered how fit he is, Martin, Robbie Fowler. He must be thinking about it, Kevin. It's happy
Looks
enough.
well enough, doesn't it? No, he's got Steve McManaman with him, you see. He hasn't been seen in the last 5 games, though he's been fit for some of them.
I think the conditions are something that the referee has to take into consideration. You know, when players commit to attacking now, Martin, there's no way they're coming out of it.
Maybe it's a quest to make sure he is seen to treat both sides fairly.
Yeah.
Book Barton, now Parlour. Distant and Dunn, 2 figures eminently spottable by Tarnat through the rain.
Unlike Sean Wright Phillips.
Tarnat takes. A good stop by Lehmann from Distant.
And it is a good stop. Oh, well held. At second attempt, but he did the job. This is a horrible one. Good header down. Picking up pace off the wet surface. And that's a good save. And that's all it takes. Set play, a ball in, good header on your back level.
More attempts by Manchester City than Arsenal here at Highbury.
Oh, that's extraordinary, isn't it? 4 attempts from Arsenal. Only in what? Just over an hour of football here.
Sanji Hai. Raymond got caught out of his goal, you remember, in the Champions League away in Kiev. Paid a hefty price. One of the few games that Arsenal have lost this season.
I can think of a few players, past and present, that would not have allowed the goalkeeper out that easily. He might have just tackled him as he was stretching to clear it.
I'm sitting alongside one past. Dennis Bergkamp now being followed by the player cam.
Well, Dennis is pretty much on the periphery of this game. Hasn't really influenced it as well as he could, as well as he might have done.
Pires. Gilberto. Remember, Arsenal have drawn 7 games this season. That's 14 points dropped, almost 5 defeats.
And that's why I don't go along with the thing about defeats. Because if you don't draw many, like Manchester United, what are they, 2? You know, it's points that you lose and how you go about losing them. And that's Arsenal's problem has been too many draws, and that's what's kept everyone in touch. I say everyone, 2 at least.
They continue to search for the second goal that could well see off Manchester City today. dipped on David James. It's a fairly unorthodox save. Anelka. Arsenal kept him fairly well reined in.
Yeah, they have. He's had very, very little support, to be fair.
It only takes with him one run, one decent ball. Arsenal stopped in their tracks by Alan Wiley's whistle.
Sometimes not even that. I remember Leicester, cup tie, chased a lost cause and got his rewards.
Well, you should remember that was only a couple of weeks ago. And that, of course, is Manchester City's only recent win. Look at this.
Lovely.
I know what you mean. The best place is to be playing, isn't it?
Yeah. Stays like this, we always think to get Richard outside and involved a bit more in the elements.
Tarnat. Cole's header. Done. Cole again. Spins through to Richard Dunn, and Sanji Hai has played several decent passes. Can get City going down this right-hand side. Now can Anelka get to this? He can easily. Rayner's in the middle. Oh, what a waste that is.
I always think the reason that front men, when they go wide like that, Martin, Alan Shearer, I can think of, Henry, are particularly good when they get in these kind of areas, as they understand what's required, and they're not as wasteful as some players. But I can't say that about Nicholas Anelka then. That was wasteful.
So, Jose Antonio Reyes is getting ready for his first taste of Arsenal action.
Typical Spanish weather awaits him.
The rain from Spain. Sinclair, Anelka. Perez can't keep it, but Henry might. No. Dunn, shoveling it forward.
And the conditions have made it scrappy. It's as simple as that. Passing and controls is becoming very, very difficult.
That's why it's such a good chance for Manchester City. Perez.
Even the shortest of passes like that. You know, it's a 4 or 5 yard pass to a support player.
Misjudged by Cole. Right Phillips.
And even that becomes difficult. Well, change is about to be made, Martin.
Player who could, if all the add-ons are taken up eventually, become Arsenal's record signing at £17 million. He replaces an Arsenal legend in Dennis Bergkamp, the 20-year-old from Seville. Jose Antonio Reyes. And immediately he's under the scrutiny of the player camp.
Well, Dennis was, so he might as well take that mantle as well. You know, there's a burden of expectancy around.
He's already played 4 times for Spain and scored 2 international goals in 1 match against Armenia earlier this season. He's a fine athlete.
And the two have said a little bit aggressive as well. Might be on the bit on the small side, but he's prepared to mix it.
And he's able to play today by a strange international ruling. He's actually suspended in Spain, but suspended from a cup competition. So the Spanish FA haven't enforced the carryover into the territory of our football association. Arsenal actually expected him to be banned from this match.
Good to see.
Edu. Here's Reyes. Encouraging turn. Parla, Reyes, Perez.
Great block.
Edu lets fly.
Not a bad introduction. A drag back that sent 3,000 people the wrong way, as well as a couple of players, and then a beautiful little flick to set up Robert Perez. This is a flick. I mean, he's controlled that brilliantly, because it was meant, he did mean to drag it back like that. And then Edu just a little high with a shot, but a great block from Richard Dunn.
Headed forward by Bart. Anelka trying to close down Toure. Nonetheless gets it long towards Reyes. I suppose in the era of squad numbers, the number 9 perhaps doesn't quite carry the same connotations as when you were playing and wearing it, Andy. But it's still one that makes you look.
Yeah.
And Franny Jeff has had it before his season-long loan to Everton.
Yeah, I think the numbers 9, 10 have always been great footballing numbers, and of course, I think it was Johan Cruyff that made the 14 such a big number in the World Cup.
But other factors have intervened now, isn't it? From the world of basketball, we've got number 23 being a popular number, which Sol Campbell wears for Arsenal.
Only because it adds up to 5 and he's a centre-back for Arsenal.
So, to Dunn. There's a nice harmony about it, the names, but the passing didn't for Manchester City.
Anything that's just off the target on the passing ranges ain't going to be got, because changing direction pretty impossible for footballers out there.
Campbell. Put the foot to it bravely, Reyes. Perez. Henry. Good handling by David James. Got everything behind it.
Yeah, lovely strike. Again, Reyes involved. So 3 touches of the ball, and they've all been pretty effective for the young Spaniard. Might even have been played in there. But Henry looking for his goal. Concentration for David James.
Henry, of course, could have had a goal right at the start of the game when it was gaping, and he hit the post and did the splits. Gilberto couldn't take a pass through to his intended target, Perez. Perez, incidentally, of Spanish extraction, speaks the language, and I'm sure will help Reyes settle in. Campbell. Cold interception. Phillips immediately won it back for Manchester City. Sinclair waiting. Can't wait, they've got to react, and it's a Reyna's ball for Anelka. Campbell goes across and gets there.
Well, that's what I mean. Big touch, Martin. Colo Toure here. Look at that. He tries to control it, and he's not able to. It skips away from him. And full marks to Sol Campbell. Might easily have been tempted to go to ground here, Martin, but he stayed on his feet. Made life difficult for Nicholas Anelka.
Lehmann. Free kick given in Arsenal's favour.
Well, they're coming late, but they're about to be made.
15 minutes to go from the sickbed. Robbie Fowler and Steve McManaman not far behind. Got to be one of the midfield players to go off, and it's Paul Bosveld to get the second striker on for City. Scorer of 2 hat-tricks in the Premiership against Arsenal in his Liverpool days, one inside 5 minutes, you might well remember. And it's Claudio Reyna who gives way to McManaman. There was a time when McManaman and Fowler were really in their pomp. Arsenal just couldn't get a result against Liverpool. McManaman got a winning goal here, I remember.
Pretty special one, if I remember. Well, they don't have much time, but they are still in touch. The game is far from won.
All of Manchester backing Manchester City. Manchester United would love to see Arsenal drop points here.
Chelsea might be quite pleased about it as well.
Parlour says Gilberto on the chase. Sanji High. Campbell has missed very little today. Perez. Reyes herring through the middle. Henry. Oh, the debutant.
It might just take a bit of tweaking this in the long run. Again, look at the favourite left side. With Perez and Henry as well, Martin, and Reyes if he plays. You know, might just take a little bit of work as well.
Will be involved from the start on Tuesday. Reyes. The Riverside. Carling Cup semi-final second leg. You can see it live. Sky Sports 2, Middlesbrough already a goal to the good. Don't think there'll be too much resemblance to today's Arsenal team in Tuesday's Arsenal team.
No.
Manchester City may well have the majority of these players on view again in North London. And you can follow the Fortunes FA Cup 4th round replay. Sky Sports 2. Wednesday from 7. Perez. Henry. For Reyes. It's a chance for him. And David James on the charge. Beat it down.
Great save.
But flag was up. Arsenal didn't need it. Reyes on the ball again. Perez found the angle, got the ball. Henry's waiting. And James is there again. And still Manchester City keep it at 1-0.
Well, 2 big saves from a big goalkeeper.
Tarnat. Sanji High. Well, on the day when Arsenal have honoured David Seaman, his successor in the Manchester City and England goal has performed splendidly here. And Manchester City have a free kick. Fowler takes it quickly. Well, no, too quickly for the referee.
No, I don't think that's a bad decision though. Wiley, they hadn't quite got players up. And they're away again.
Anelka lines one up for himself. In goes Fowler. Typical predatory fashion. Corner.
Well, it just shows you, doesn't it? Even the top teams, Martin, with a slender lead at home, can look a bit nervy and edgy when someone puts them under pressure, and that's what City are trying to do. We've got 2v1 here. A little bit slow to react.
Fowler. To sneak it in at the near post.
Well, that was comfortable, but not up the other end. This is lovely football, and they pick out Reyes here. He's on his right side, and, well, makes himself a big goalkeeper. Hits him in the face more than anything. This is the second one where it just gets deflected away from him, Martin. And both Reyes and Henry think it's there. That's a very, very brave save. Head first, plunging at the Frenchman's feet.
10 minutes to go. Narrow victories for Manchester United yesterday, for Chelsea today. Competitive nature of those games, a compliment to the Barclaycard Premiership. It's been a similar story here. Arsenal haven't yet got their narrow victory. Wenger on a bit of a prowl in the technical area. Nothing for him to be relaxed about. Edu. Lauren. Gilberto. It is risky passing it around, and Campbell, Fowler's claiming that he was fouled.
Oh, it's got to be a foul, that has got to be a foul. I mean, Alan Wiley has just ducked out a big decision there. How on earth he doesn't think that's a free kick when Robbie Fowler wins the ball.
Ball through to Perez by Edu, used to Henry. He's got plenty to aim at, like that! An astounding goal from Thierry Henry. Arsenal have scored twice when Manchester City have been appealing for free kicks seconds earlier.
Yeah, the strike is just awesome. It's the only word to describe it. You and I are right behind us, and it is like an arrow. It's like a tracer. Unsavable, unstoppable.
But they were appealing again.
Well, I think it's a free kick. I don't care what anyone says, Matt. This is a free kick. This strike is awesome. Watch this. Look, keep an eye on it if you can. I mean, just David, you've been brilliant, but don't even dive, mate. Just turn round and pick it out the net, because that's as close as you're going to get to it. A strike from a super striker. Oh, take a bow, son.
It surely settled the day for Arsenal. He's equal now with Alan Shearer on 16 Premiership goals this season. It's a signal for Arsene Wenger to take off Robert Pires and bring on a defender in Pascal Sigon. Well, if the first one did look more a slip than a foul on Anelka prior to the own goal from Tarnat, everyone seemed to stop as Fowler went down then, but the referee was very well placed, and the way he saw it, play on was the message. Arsenal certainly played on. And Henry, from an improbable angle, even with his gifts, absolutely buried it.
That was. Well, let's have a little look at that instant. I didn't think there was an argument the first time, but look at Fowler. He's away. There's a bit of contact with both, I have to be fair, but the referee has seen that. He's made a great decision. But that there, just look and admire.
There's been some Manchester City protests and a booking, we think, for Trevor Sinclair.
Well, I'm sure Kevin will have an opinion on it at the end of the game. Both incidents.
On another day, both occasions the referee might have blown the whistle rightly or wrongly.
I just think as well, you know, as a neutral, we've just witnessed one of the best goals of the season that they given a free. I know Manchester City fans say, you know what? But it was a strike to admire, there's no doubt about that.
Well, he rarely gets a scruffy goal. But that's surely one of his best ever. Takes him to 98 Premiership goals. The name is Thierry Henry. So there is some breathing space for Arsenal, but it's only come in the last 5 minutes of the match. Sinclair. Free kick to City. They need more than that. They can pile in to the Arsenal penalty area now. Tarnat to take it. Distin. McManaman. He's yelling for handball by Seagull. I think she's away from him. And then he stops Fowler's throw. Seems to have got away with that.
Well, they half looked for a penalty, but no way. McManaman stopped the shot straight off Seagull.
Fowler is fouled here. Still make it nervy for Arsenal in the very last period of the game if they can find a goal from this free kick. Tarnat's got one or two options up his sleeve. Henry and Cole are reluctant to retreat. Sinclair has come across to have another chip away at Alan Wiley. Hasn't got the two-man war quite where he wants it. He's yelling at Ashley Cole. He knows all about Tarnat from their days in Germany. Flew across, Parler couldn't deal with it. Charged down by Campbell is as good a candidate as anybody for man of the match, I would feel. Arsenal give it away through Parler. Oh, and Anelka. It is 2-1. It's not over yet.
He's trying to get the ball off Ashley Cole now.
Oh, and now Alan Whiteley's right on the spot, and somebody's going to be in big trouble here.
Yeah.
But it's certainly a goal for Manchester City. It's a goal for Anelka, but he could be in Alan Whiteley's bad books. The players are being tugged away. Of course, Arsenal know all about these mass incidents and what can happen at the end of it. Big punishments after the final episode against Manchester United at Old Trafford.
Well, he's trying to get Anelka, who'd try to walk away, but he's got him back. I think Ashley Cole and Anelka will be the two, Martin.
They could both go.
They could.
Key to the moment stuff now. What colour will be the cards?
Red there.
Red for Anelka, that hybrid. In the aftermath of scoring. Ashley Cole has been sent off earlier this season at Leicester. Gets yellow.
Well, it gives us a chance at last to see the goal. We just get a little sloppy on the way out. No real marking there. A bit offline. You can see on the far side. And not quite got the line there. It's a lovely finish in the end from Nicholas Anelka. The touch was a good one. But they're not quick in getting out. They're a little slow in getting out. Therefore, Anelka's got the space. And finishes really well. Now, you know what's going to happen now. They want the ball back. They're running out of time. Ashley Cole knows that. And he gets into the net, trying to run away with the ball. There's a little bit of push and shove. That's why he's sent off. Grabbing him, both hands. Edu's lucky.
Well, he's got a goal, but he's lost the scorer of it. And here's Reyes. Grabbing on him, that will be a free kick to Arsenal. We talked about him being a tough nut.
Steady.
Doesn't want to incline the nut then.
No. Well, I have to say, you mentioned it earlier, this has been one of the easiest games to referee, although conditions are difficult. And I don't know if Alan Worley saw it, whether he thinks it of it. Well, it's just here, there's a little bit of pull on the shirt. That's the free kick, but then there's a little bit of mouthing going on. A little bumping in, half a kick, little look round, little bump.
It's from Tarnat. Coming together at eyebrow level. That's about it. It just shows how much you have to concentrate for the entire 90 minutes of a match at this level. Whether you're a player like Arsenal defending, they've conceded a goal. Whether you're a referee who probably thinks that it's all going to end fairly straightforwardly at 2-0. It's now 2-1. Player's been red carded. It'll make the headlines. Anelka here.
So you can understand the frustration with Anelka and foul on everyone that was around Ashley Cole, trying to run away with the ball with a minute or so to go.
I remember a game earlier this season, Darren Pearce.
Yeah, I did the same.
Ran a long way away with the ball. Ended up sent off.
Listen, no, that mayhem. How much stoppage time was there? You have any idea?
No. We've had 2. Right, Phillips. It was 2-1 to Arsenal at the City of Manchester Stadium in August in very different weather conditions. It's 2-1 to Arsenal here at Highbury. Dista.
Well, all the top 3, Martin, have really had to work much harder this weekend than they thought they would.
Could be away here. Dunn trying to buy City a bit of time defensively and force him wide. Corner.
Yeah, that must be very close to the last action of the day. Turned out to be an eventful afternoon. But for 85 minutes, it looked a formality. 2 talking points. I'm sure Kevin Keegan will have an opinion on. 3 now, sending off, of course. But with both goals, he will have, I'm sure, an opinion on them, and that they've been hard done by.
The wrong end of all of them, he will feel.
He will feel exactly that, and that sort of, he will say, it's typifies the way it is for Manchester City at the moment.
Well, let's hope, perhaps, from football's point of view, the abiding memory will be Henry's wonderful goal, which, of course, is now the decisive goal. And almost 4 added minutes. Just whipping it away from Reyes. Tarnat. Fowler's in there. Seagull gets a touch. Edu, another Arsenal substitute. Arsenal have won it. An extraordinary ending, which included a wonderful goal from Henry and Ashley Cole then being involved in an altercation after Nicholas Anelka had pulled one back for Manchester City, and Anelka subsequently sent off for his part in it. Reyes coming in to the heat of the Premiership battle, and certainly he looks up for it. The only goal of the first